Hi Gemini, I hope you're all doing well. Right before I went to turn on the camera, I heard let the pieces all fall in place. Let everything fall in place, all the pieces. So this could be a message for me too, because I am getting a lot of pieces to your puzzle that we're going to put together today as your general reading. And earlier this morning, I did get some downloads for you and I wrote them down here. So we're going to talk about these because they are definitely your reading. This is part of your reading. And then I pulled out some oracle cards here and they're pretty interesting. So we'll talk about those and then we'll get into the tarot. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Andy. I'm an intuitive reader, meaning that I work with the tarot, I work with pen and paper, I work with oracle cards, I work with music, I work with a whole bunch of different tools to help me read the energy that I'm picking up on. Okay, so if that's not your style, that's okay. I'm just not the right channel for you. So, Gemini, the first message that I got for you is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. But the sum of its parts is what makes the whole great. So when I got this message, I kind of chuckled because it seems like a very Gemini thing to focus on the sum of the parts, and a very Sagittarius thing, which is opposite to you on the zodiac. And it's actually the Sagittarius new moon that I'm filming on today. That is typically about looking at the broader picture, the whole of something. But I think it's really important to remember that it is noticing, experiencing, reflecting on, and cherishing the sum of the parts that makes the whole really something to appreciate. Okay, so this could be different parts of a relationship you're in, focusing on those different moments or memories or the good things or the bad things. It's like looking at all those different things in order to get a broader picture of what that relationship is all about. It could be about work or even just your life in general. Then I got a message here that love is more powerful than pain. And I sat with this message for a while, because it seems pretty profound. And it makes sense immediately, at least to me. But what's interesting about this message, love is more powerful than pain, is that when we're in pain, say we have heartbreak, we want relief, definitely. But often that relief is we want love. We want to be loved. We want someone to care for us. We want someone to help bring relief to us. Usually when we're in pain, we're seeking outside care and support, whether that's from our spirit or it could be from somebody in our life. But in order to really know what love is, we must have had to experience that pain initially in order to know how good it is to receive that feeling of love. And this is true, I think, for us as humans, as babies, when we experience discomfort or pain and then that relief comes in, we experience it as an act of love, although we're babies and we don't think about that. But that's really where our notion and idea of what love is begins to form. When we're so young and we're in some kind of pain or discomfort and somebody alleviates that for us out of a selfless act of care for us. And so there's something important for you to remember, Gemini, when it comes to love. Love is many things, and love can get a little bit more complicated as we get older. And we can define love for ourselves, what we think that is for ourselves and what we need. But I think fundamentally, basically, we need to experience acts of care that are selfless, meaning that the other person doesn't have an agenda or they're not expecting some kind of return on their investment of care towards us. Just a kind gesture to relieve our pain and suffering or to make us feel more comfortable in the world. How beautiful. So Spirit wanted to distill that a little bit, I guess, the notion of love here for us. And as many of you know, I'm I identify a lot with Gemini energy. I have a Gemini moon north node. But most of the times I kind of feel like I'm a Gemini. Okay. So I also got the animal koala bear, which I looked it up, the symbolism. It didn't really click what they were saying about it. There was something about childlike playfulness, which seems to gel with Gemini energy, but maybe this is just a specific message for someone, something about a koala bear. And then I got something about the importance of playfulness, your playfulness, but also knowing that when we play as children or as adults even, there's still some kind of boundaries and rules that define how we play. We can't really play without knowing the game. And the game typically has some rules involved. So I have here, we have to know the game before we can play. And definitely before we can win. And here when I say game, I don't necessarily mean something malicious, okay, or manipulative. I mean, there's boundaries, there's structures that help define our reality and give us context to make sense of our lives. And we have to know what our own boundaries are. We have to know the rules that we set for ourselves and that we set for others, and the rules of the game that we're playing in, maybe at work or wherever, in order for us to actually have a sense of movement. Interesting. And definitely before we can win. Then the last note that came up was something about music. You need more music. And I got something about classical music. I mean, not all of you are going to like classical music, but it's something that came up. Okay, so the first two oracle cards, or I should say major arcana cards that came out, was Death and Empress. The energies supporting you, Foresight. The energies challenging you, Door of Dreams. I love this card. Whether it's in the support or the challenge, I just love it. And I asked, because I was having a hard time understanding how these two were relating to you. Like, how do they relate together and how do they relate to you in the messages I received? And I got the card Reflection. And here we have the whole and the sum of its parts. So I feel like Gemini, you've definitely entered a new chapter of your life. You're in a new era, okay? Something has shifted. I feel this like maturing energy from you, no matter how old you are. It's like you're more comfortable with who you are. And I feel like there's definitely something that feels like a block between you and opening this door of your dreams. Maybe it's not, maybe it's just a level of perception and awareness Spirit wants you to have about yourself and who you are and what made you who you are, in order for you to really appreciate your dreams when the door opens. Because you can see the door of your dreams, Foresight. You see an opening, and some of you don't know exactly what that opening is or where you're going, but you sense that there is like something. I'm hearing a vista of opportunities, or there's like just something waiting for you out there. Your future self is waiting for you. And I feel like you sense this, but Spirit wants you to really think about all the little parts of you or parts of an experience that you're working through that have helped define who you are and are bringing you to this moment where you're really about to just like let the light in. It's a really kind of touching message. It does seem like we're talking like on a macro scale, but as Spirit said, it's the micro moments that brings significance to the macro, to the bigger picture. It's all those little moments in time, all those little decisions we made. We're 10 minutes in, no tarot yet. Okay, Spirit. Let's get into it. Let's see, Gemini. Where are you going? What are you doing? What's happening? What do you need to hear? Yeah. I love you guys so much. I truly do. Thank you for allowing me to play myself in the way I do during a reading, because it does open doorways that I don't think I could open if I came in with a certain kind of formula I was following. This is a message for you too. Even though there might be rules to this so-called tarot reading on YouTube game, if we want to say it that way, there might be rules to it. As long as we know what those rules are, well, we know the places in which we can play within those rules. What am I saying here? Okay, so there's, It's not about bending the rules. It's about actually knowing the real rules. Okay, I don't know why Spirit's getting me to talk about this, but we're going here. Spiritual rules. Like a tarot reading should have spiritual rules. There's rules defining the space that I'm sitting in, who I'm tapping into, what my intentions are. All of those are what make up the rules. And then once I establish those rules and boundaries, I'm free to play with the energy because I've established that, right? Interesting. Whereas maybe some others play without knowing those rules. Yeah, okay. So this is a message for you, Gemini. There could be somebody around you who's playing something or doing something. Let's just say that. Let's get out of the metaphor for a second. They're doing something and not following the so-called rules, whether those are moral rules or whether those are actual things that need to be done, like, regulations or your boundaries even. They're defying them. They're not really acting appropriately with honor or integrity. And they may be experiencing a lot of stress. This could be an aspect of yourself too. And if it is, this is what's going on. If you're wondering why you're stressed or you feel trapped, more so. You feel trapped. If you feel trapped, it's because you haven't quite identified the real rules and boundaries. And the real rules and boundaries are to act out of integrity, love. That's how we started, right? A careless act of easing discomfort. Somebody is not playing by the rules. 7 of coins for how the past is still affecting you. Let's get the cards out here. That makes sense. We got the Emperor and the Empress. So this could be about some divine partnership you have. Doesn't have to be. It could also be about those Emperor and Empress aspects within yourself. But let's see. Who is there a person outside of yourself that is affecting you the most, or a situation? What does that energy look like for the Geminis tuning in, no matter where you have Gemini in your chart? 4 of Coins and 5 of Cups. Yes, this is that 3 of Wands. Somebody who thinks they're savvy, crafty, clever, like a fox, can get around certain things, bend, shape the rules, or like not have to play by the rules in order to receive something. And what they're experiencing is the 4 of Coins and the 5 of Cups, this kind of miserly mindset, this feeling of not being secure or valuing the wrong things, feeling distant from themselves and from the true purpose of the relationship, of the work situation, of their own path. I feel like you've had patience with this energy too, with 7 of Coins in the past. Interesting. For some of you, you're about to open the door of your dreams and you're not sure if you want to take somebody with you or if somebody will appreciate what it is that you're about to step into. Well, with the Death card, which was the very first card that came out, something does need to go. Something needs to end for you to transform. And what are you transforming into is the Empress. Yeah. Okay. So your overall energy is the Two of Wands. It says enterprising and bold on this card. Well, you're showing up here as a little bit of a fox too, also clever. Could it be that somebody's trying to do things as you do, imitate you in a way, or follow your lead, or mirror you, especially with the mirror here, but they're coming not from the same place as you. They don't have the guidebook I'm hearing that you do. Could be Aries, doesn't have to be, but I'm seeing the Aries symbol as I'm talking. Two of Wands, so you're at a crossroads here. You need to make a decision about one of the parts that is making up the whole right now for you. Does that part belong? And if you allow that part, that person, that job, that feeling, that thought, whatever it is for you, that, if you allow that part to stay, how much influence does it have in defining the whole? It's kind of philosophical in a sense, Gemini. Deep questions for you to ponder on as usual. I'm hearing, I think it's a movie name actually. Don't let the wrong ones in. Is that a movie? Well, anyways, don't let the wrong ones in. But it feels like that's a title of something. I'm hearing, or a bastardization of a title. Careful about your book titles and your essay titles and so forth. Think carefully, because I know some of you are writers and I'm feeling this, okay? And if you're not a writer, it's a metaphor. Okay. But when we title an essay, a book, a chapter, it kind of defines the whole. So remember that. Is it true to the sum of its parts? Interesting. 10 of Swords in reverse for your opportunity. I need a little bit further on this. There's that Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands, success. Some of you could have been receiving advice from someone who actually knows a lot less than you. Maybe they know more than you do in a particular field or in a particular, context, or they have more relationship experience or whatever it is, but on a soul level, they don't know as much as you do. And you have to be careful listening to their advice or following their lead, because they don't know the rules of the game. When you ask someone for advice about something and they have a very quick answer, right? And it seems to be the obvious answer. It seems to be the thing that would make sense. But it's not that simple. That you can't just implement that answer. You can't just go with whatever it is they're suggesting. And that's because you have a deeper understanding of the issue at hand, or you have a broader perspective than this other person. So yes, there's a warning here about listening to advice from a particular person who doesn't have as much knowledge about something that you do. Okay. And again, it's like they could have more knowledge in a literal sense about something, but overall, they haven't been through as much as you have. They have less parts making up their whole, maybe. The forces supporting you. Ace of Coins. A new opportunity here. Your door of dreams. It says wealth arising. Okay, so we got a new opportunity that comes with actual tangible success behind it. I'm hearing currency. It comes with currency. So maybe like moolah. But interesting. But also maybe exchange of energy. It has a currency about it, right? I feel like this might be networking or getting something out, or there's an exchange of information here that is supporting you or coming in. Let's see, the King of Cups with Diviner and Sage. Ace of Cups. For some of you, Gemini, you have someone looking at you, looking at your life, or maybe they're just picking up on your energy, and they can sense something in your energy that doesn't quite fit. And I feel like it's maybe something you're doing or a person that you're related to, maybe actually familial, or maybe it's a love thing, but it's like somebody wants to offer you something, has something for you, okay? But there's someone else in your life that they're like, I don't know if it's like somebody doesn't deserve some of the karma that you are going to receive, and the karma is good karma. Yeah, gifts and bounty. Someone's holding back a little bit something, and it could be spirit holding back, not unlocking the door of dreams until everything is as it should be. Everything is in alignment. And we can't come through that door of dreams with this miserly, regretful, remorseful energy tailing us. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so be very careful about who you surround yourself with, okay? 8 of Coins for the forces working against you. We have knowledge and insight. I feel like this goes back to the very first message about maybe getting stuck on the sum of the parts at times. It's a nuance here, because those sum of the parts are very important, as you know, Gemini. But we do need to see the whole picture. And this is kind of what Spirit is saying, is like someone, maybe Spirit, or maybe a boss, or a future love interest, or a current love interest, I don't know. Someone's like, or maybe even your higher self, stepping back and looking at the whole of what's going on in your project, in your life, or whatever. And they're seeing something here that doesn't belong, okay? So yes, I've said that a few times now. Interesting repetition. But there is something that is not working in your favor in this whole. Maybe for some of you, it's something I'm seeing all these books stacked up here. Maybe it's some knowledge you're picking up on, okay? Like you're watching, I just use this as an example because it's easy. You're watching all these tarot readings that are very enlightening, hopefully. They help you develop and grow. And then sometimes you like to tune into to another channel that's like really, I don't know, egoic in some ways and in the shadow. And it's kind of like your junk food. And that can be fun sometimes, for sure. But maybe there's something about that is starting to define your picture, your perspective, your intuition. It's infiltrating a little bit more than it needs to. Or there's a chapter that needs to be edited out. Or there's a friend that needs to say goodbye to. Or there's an aspect in the relationship you're in that really needs to be, I'm hearing, needled out. Like you really need to work something out, needled out. Interesting. Okay. The opportunity for you, actually, this is your advice, but I guess it is your opportunity as well. The Emperor, Overlord, and Supremacy, this is redefining the rules. Or if it's not redefining them, it's making the rules clear. Making the rules of the game clear to yourself. What is it that you're actually trying to accomplish? What is it that you actually value in a relationship and a connection? You know, setting the parameters, setting the boundaries, setting your intentions, so that you feel that sense of relief that you can do things. It's like that's where the more movement comes in. You can move around without fearing that you're doing the wrong thing, because you've already set up that frame. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's important in a relationship to lay that groundwork, lay that foundation. Really let and communicate with another person, like, this is what I'm not okay with and this is what I really like. You know, making those things clear to one another is going to be very important, because then you can play within those boundaries and everything, and then you both win, you know. And there's somebody here who's not doing that, or they don't know the rules, or they're just cheating in some way. Does feel like there's an energy around you that's trying to cheat the game, you know? Yeah. And they might be doing it to win you, to win something with you. Well, interesting. But if they do that, then there's a winner and a loser. But if you both play within your structure, your boundaries, what you desire for one another, then you both win. You're so smart, Gemini. I love reading for you. You give me so much to think about. Okay. The outcome for you in the next 3 months. King of Coins. I like this. This is stability. This is you putting the Emperor energy into action. You know, taking that kind of major arcana spiritual lesson of taking charge, being in control, strategizing, all of that stuff, defining the rules and all that. That's you taking that lesson and putting it into form and it working out for you. You're coming out on top with something because you're dedicated and you're adamant. I'm hearing to your ethics. What? Hold on, something's coming in here about, well, I'm hearing something about a ghost. Queen of Swords, the universe, and the Tower. This seems like a very specific message, but once again, could be a metaphor. I don't know. Okay. But something about a ghost writer. Like, no ghost writers. No ghost writers. Maybe that's the message. Like, don't let someone else play your game to play. Like, and when I say play and game, I mean like having fun. And Spirit has set up rules for us. There's certain things that we cannot see that actually exist. There's certain things that are happening in the world, molecules and dimensions and all these cool things that we're not allowed to access in some ways. Maybe the game will change. Maybe we'll level up. Hopefully. But until now, that's what's best for us so that we can really win right now in the present moment. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to go into an extended reading for you. In the extended, I go a layer deeper into this message. The link for that is in the description box below. But if you don't want to come along to that, or you can't for whatever reason, then know that you received all the information that you needed here today. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time.